Greetings, greetings, greetings. I am the backpacking Sagittarius, aka the hiking Viking, aka the vagabond Viking. Welcome to my channel. Come along with me on my journey of joy and of pain, of sunshine and of rain. And please like and subscribe.
So today I'm going to talk about two of my all-time favorite movies ever, both premiered in the early 90s. For me, I'm an 80s baby, so I grew up on all of the 90s movies and I love so much of them. Well, so many of them. But two of my favorite that I'm going to speak about are both starring Julia Roberts, the amazing, beautiful, talented Julia Roberts. They both came out in the early 90s, but just in case anyone hasn't seen it, so I'm going to do the spoiler alert. We're going to talk about the beginning, the middle, the end, the whole plot of the movie. So if you haven't seen it, I'm going to give it away, so be prepared. And just in case if there's any kids watching, there may be some profanity also, so this may not be for kids. Both of the movies actually have racy topics. One is actually about prostitution, the other is actually about domestic violence. So I want to speak about those topics and how they relate to me and my life, and maybe for adults only. So let's turn my chair a bit. Okay, so according to Google, in this modern update on Cinderella, a prostitute and a wealthy businessman fall hard for one another, forming an unlikely pair. So that's what Google had to say about it. Also, according to Google, it received 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it received a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. The budget for the movie was $14 million, and then they actually made $463.4 million. Also, the movie had won the Golden Globe Award for Best Motion Picture and for Julia Roberts Best Actress. So she was in there showing off, showing her acting skills. So basically, the movie came out in the early 90s, and I was born in the early 80s, so I had to be around maybe 8, 9, 10 when the movie came out. And I just remember me and my sister, we went to my aunt's house. We was gonna just hang with my older cousins. We used to love going there to hang with my older cousins. And actually down the road, we ended up going to live with that particular aunt and those cousins. But at the time when we would go visit, it was like they were just the cool older kids. They had all the cool stuff, the new things that would come out, like the Game Boy and all the fun games, Nintendo, Sega, Atari. Yeah, I'm old, I'm showing my age and everything. And so they had like a big collection of VHS tapes. And back in the day, you could only watch either what was on TV, which was just a few channels, or you could watch, if you had cable, they had cable. You could watch cable, which had a lot of channels. You could watch your VHS tapes. DVD wasn't invented at the time. So a lot of people, you might go to their house, they might have just a few tapes or just a couple of boring movies or older movies. But at my cousin's house, it was always the new movies. Like I seen Ninja Turtles over there, Ninja Turtles 2. I seen one of the Ghostbuster movies over there. It was my first time seeing Chucky, Chucky Part 2 and 3. The scary movies like Freddy, Jason. They would have all the new hot music at the time in like a big boombox and just play it loud, and the parents wouldn't get mad or say turn that down, and it would just be fun. So at this particular visit, we was going to watch Pretty Woman. So, and they would create a whole experience to watch the movie. It would be like dark, cut the lights off, snuggle up with a blanket. Somebody might be sitting here, sitting there, sitting over there. If we was in the living room or in the back room watching it, just snuggly and just light slow, might have some snacks, might they would turn it up, turn the volume up really loud, so it would be like a cinematic experience, and it was epic at the time. When you're young, you just have them epic moments, and you might have an experience like watching a movie. That experience might stay with you for a lifetime, and that memory and that movie will stay in your mind. You will see it again and again and again, and some movies you will love it again and again and again. So, let's see, we're sleeping with the enemy. Let's see. And Pretty Woman, it was co-starring Richard Gere. So at the time, and for a long time after that, he played the attractive, mature male lead that all the ladies love, like charming, wealthy. That's normally his character, and a lot of the movies he plays, and he executes it well. And so he was the co-star, the love interest in the movie. She played Vivian, which was a prostitute. She was out on the corner and everything, strolling up and down the boulevard. Let me see, I think the movie starts off like that. I think she's in her apartment getting ready. She climbs down the fire escape and climbs out the window because like the landlord's knocking on the door and he's trying to get the money. So she climbs out the window and goes straight to the boulevard, hit that boulevard, she had like, I think she was in the bathroom getting ready. She might have put a wig on or already had it on, put the lipstick on, the thigh-high boots, the really short skirt, I think short top. Yeah, it was like a pretty short top that goes inwards, and it was just pretty. It was just a cute little outfit. So she went out there, and a couple of minutes she was out there, she ended up meeting Richard Gere, and he pulled up like in a fancy sports car. He wasn't really familiar with driving that particular fancy sports car, and he was also lost. He was in town for a business situation, and so he approached her and asked for directions, and then by her being a prostitute, she was spitting that game to him and everything. She got in the car with him, and she was like, I'll show you how to get there. You won't pay me and everything. So she got in the car. She realized how he was a rookie driving, so she took over. She drove, and he was all impressed with her driving. And then I think that happened. Well, either way, they got to the hotel. Let me see. It was like a fancy big hotel. So all the rich stuck-up people were looking down on her and like, what are you doing with her? And just giving her the dirty eye, the stink eye. So she was going to play games with him. So when they got on the elevator, she was all like, making out with him and stuff. And she said something freaky about her stockings or no panties or something. And then they were just like, oh, how dare you, clutching their pearls and all that. So it was just like, let me see, after that, well, let me talk about some other parts I love in the beginning. I love the part with the champagne and strawberries. Even though I was so young, I didn't really know about what champagne was, but it just looked so fancy and delicious in that little cup. And he was telling her how it tastes even better with the strawberries, and it just looked so like a delicious combination. So she had that, and then in one part she was had the strawberries and the chocolate, and she called it a little carpet picnic. She had chocolate all laid out with strawberries and champagne, and she was just enjoying her little moment, watching I Love Lucy and just cracking up. And then that's when he was sitting over there and he wanted his attention and everything, so she went over there and gave him some attention. But I think, let's see, either before that or after that. Either before that or after that, she was in the bathroom for a while, so he thought she was in there doing drugs. So he came busting in there all mad, we don't do that around here. they don't allow drugs here and this and that, and I don't tolerate that and this and that and this and that. And he found out she was just an age, she had it behind her back. And she was just flossing her teeth because of the strawberries. And so even he was trying to like look down on her and this and that until a little bit later in the night, after, you know, he got his rocks off and everything, and then she fell asleep, and then she took off her wig, and so he seen her in a whole new light, basically, like, she's natural and beautiful, and this and that and this and that, and so, he was just thinking, like, all right, she don't do drugs, she look like I can fix her up and use her to, you know, make me look better while I'm in town, and this and that and this and that. So she woke up the next day. This is also one of my favorite parts. He had like a big buffet lined with all this food set up for her that he ordered from room service. And this is my first time like, wow, hotels are amazing. Room service, what is this? Like, they just bring you like whatever you want. And so it was like pancakes, croissants, biscuits, oranges, fruit, apples, just bacon, just everything. And she woke up like just looking at it. He was like, wow. He was drinking his coffee, reading his newspaper, talking about, I didn't know what you would like, so I just got you everything. So she was all like, so he hit her with the proposition, like, if you would, you know, what is it, like a call girl? Escort, something like an escort. If you will be my escort, you know, for a couple of weeks while I'm in town, I'll pay you a certain amount of money. You won't make out. I'm going to make out. It's going to be good. So she was all like, I just remember one of the lines. She was like, I would love to be your beck and call girl, but I'm quite sure you got this and this and that lined up or whatever. So he like, look, I want you, this and this and that. So she like, all right, pay me up front. Pay me this amount. She was being direct with him, getting what she wanted, and then he was like, all right. And so then a little bit down the road from that, he was like, all right, go, matter of fact, I think this was still at the breakfast table. He was like, take my credit card, go shopping, get some nice stuff so you can look presentable for everything that I have planned. So let me get some lip gloss on. My bottom looking a little dry. Alright, so yeah. He's like, go get presentable for everything that I have planned and everything. So he sent her out to the store. So she went to Rodeo Drive. That was my first time seeing that sign. And I realized it was like a fancy place out in Hollywood or LA, or wherever they were. And so, you know, she went to the little fancy stores and they was trying to give her the snake eye some more. The people in there and trying to treat her all funny. And like, what are you doing in here? And this and that and this and that. No matter of fact, he didn't give her the credit card at that time. She went in there with cash. And I think she pulled out some cash. She was like, I got money and this and that and this and that. And it was like, still looking at her all funny and this and that. And so she was like, you know what? I'm out. So she left. And she went and then she told him what happened. Like, yeah, they hurt my feelings and they was treating me like this and this and that. So he went there with her and he had the credit card. And, yeah. Because he gave her money to go get the clothes instead of her using her own money. But this time he went, and instead of letting her use the money, he whipped out his credit card. And plus, he was, you know, fancy, high class, and it was in there, like, serving him on a silver platter, like, bringing him champagne. And he was just sitting there with his legs crossed, relaxing while she did the whole try on clothes montage, the wonderful 90s montage of trying on clothes and spinning around, you know, with your hat, your necklaces, and your accessories. And it was just a wonderful, lovely moment to see her in different outfits and dressing up, and she was having a good time and enjoying herself. And they was laughing together and everything. And so, let's see. You know, eventually a lot of other things happened, but then eventually he ended up hurting her feelings because he told one of his friends that she was a prostitute, and then she felt, oh, you know, she didn't know how to act around him anymore and Because she was supposed to be, they was keeping up front, like, this is my girlfriend, and yeah, this and that and that. But then all of a sudden, he wants to tell her she a prostitute, and so then the friend approached her, or somebody know you a prostitute, you won't give me something. So he was trying to rip her, and then he came in and beat him up, broke his nose. I think his friend was the guy from Seinfeld, the little short guy that played, the little short guy from Seinfeld that everybody liked, and he's funny with the bald head and don't get no bitches and everything. That one. So he broke his nose, and then, but this was after another one of my favorite parts when they went to the racetrack, because it was like Preakness or something fancy and she had wore her little fancy Preakness hat and her cute little polka dot dress, and she was just there having a good time, and the ladies was in there hating on her like, oh, this is another one of his chicks, oh, this is who he with now and all this and that. And then shortly after that, that's when the dude tried to rape her. And so the beautiful, wonderful story was kind of having some rocky moments. And then she ended up like, all right, I'm out of this whole situation. I'd rather go back, to where I feel comfortable at and do me. She's like, I'm doing this nigga a favor. I'm done. I got my money. I'm out. So she was gonna leave him or whatever. She was tiny bit heartbroken, but she was like, I'm not gonna let this break me down and take my pride. Like I'll do me without you, and you not gonna make me feel like this. So she left, and then at the end, he pulls up in the limo. I think he climbed up the fire escape. He had some flowers, climbed up the fire escape, gave it to her, told her he loved her and he's sorry. And it was just a beautiful, fancy, lovely ending, and love, and it make you clap and stand up and be like, yay! And cheer and all that. And another one of my favorite parts of the movie, when she was in the lovely moment before it started getting rocky, she invited her homegirl, her little best friend, Kit. So Kit came over, and Kit was chilling with her like, oh, you making it, you fancy now, and this and that, look at you. And so it was just a cute little friendly moment to see two homegirls like, yeah, girl. And so then she broke her homie off with like a stack of money, like, all right, pay the rent, do this, do that. So it was a good moment. And so the ending, oh, so wonderful. I might have skipped out on some other lovely moments, but it was an epic movie. Everybody loves it. She did a wonderful job. It was a beautiful movie. It's funny. It's heartwarming. You have to think another one of my favorite parts when they was going to go to a fancy dinner. So he wanted to get her some like charm lessons, like teach you etiquette and how to be fancy and what fork to use and this plate and that plate. So she went and learned it, and that was a cute little funny moment. They did a little moment on the piano, I think, where they got freaky and naked on the piano, something like that. Oh, the guy that worked in the hotel. He was like the concierge of the hotel, and he was the only one. He knew she was a prostitute, but he was like, all right, I know I'm not going to treat you like that. I know what you is and what you do. Y'all ain't fooling me, but let me help you. Let me guide you and show you how to act in this environment and move out here how we do it. So he just took under his wing a little bit and was teaching us some stuff and trying to teach her to keep her head up and don't let them judge you and stuff like that. And I think at the end it was just like a beautiful moment with him too, because I think, I don't know, maybe he kissed her hand and said something, or it was just something like, yeah, he was a cool dude. And in comparison, the movie Sleeping with the Enemy, now that is one of my all-time favorites. Now, I did see Sleeping with the Enemy way before I even saw Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman came out in 1990, and Sleeping with the Enemy came out in 1991. Now, let me see. Another funny thing about Pretty Woman, real quick. Like the Halloween after I saw the movie, because sometimes on Halloween we ain't had no real cost in front of the store. We had to get creative, make up something, get some items from around the house, and dress ourselves up and make ourselves into whatever character or whatever we want and just go out there and get out or candy, so this particular Halloween, my cousin was like, all right, you the hooker from Pretty Woman, because I had this little jean skirt. So then I had put some little stockings on, just a regular shirt. They put some little makeup on me, like just little lipstick in the eye stuff. And yeah, I was the hooker from Pretty Woman, and that was fun. But it was fun. But I didn't have to, I could be like, hey, I'm the hooker from Pretty Woman. Like, nobody was like, who are you? But, sometimes people do ask, who are you, or what your costume is. But I didn't have to announce it that Halloween, but I would have gladly, proudly said, I'm the hooker from Pretty Woman. And so it was just fun. We went trick-or-treating. Another Halloween, I was a man. They put like a mustache on me. And they was like, all right, you a man. And that was fun too. That was fun. We went trick-or-treating and got a lot of candy. And so, all right, so in 1991, when that movie premiered, let me see. They had a budget of $19 million, and they actually made at the box office $175 million. So compared to Pretty Woman with the $14 million and then the $463.4 million, you see the difference. Pretty Woman did a lot better financially and also received awards. But also, I just love Sleeping with the Enemy. I think that was a beautiful movie. It only received a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let me see, is that a 3? That joint say it got a 3 out of 10 on IMDb. That don't make no sense because this is an awesome movie. I love this movie. See, they don't make movies like this no more where they put details, just details that string in with the movie and details that stick in your memory and tie the movie in together, and just epic acting, directing, producing, writing. Pretty Woman and Julia Roberts both have, not Pretty Woman and Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman and Sleeping with the Enemy both have those qualities. They're just epic movies. So I love these movies, and I love Julia Roberts, and so I definitely don't agree with that 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, even 7 out of 10 for IMDb, and we're talking about Pretty Woman. So even though they gave it those scores, I don't agree. It should have been 100%, 10 out of 10. Glad they won some awards. Sleeping with the Enemy didn't win any awards. It only got that 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. It only got that 3 out of 10 on IMDb, and it just don't make sense. I mean, these are wonderful, classic, epic, memory, stick in your memory type movies, the blueprint of movies to come down the road. So everybody has their own experience of it and their own opinion. In my opinion, these are both 100% awesome epic movies. And so, like in Pretty Woman, co-starring Richard Gere, and now in Sleeping with the Enemy, it was co-starring Patrick Bergin. So Patrick Bergin, he is nothing like Richard Gere. He is more like the creepy vibe, the serial killer type of vibe, always angry and mean, and he's a little bit handsome, a little bit cute, but not as cute as Richard Gere, not as charming. Patrick Bergin actually went on to play Dracula in 2002, and then he also went on to play in Smallville, the TV series adaptation of Superman when he was a teenager. Patrick Bergin played as Morgan Edge, who was a crime boss in Metropolis. I also learned from looking on Google about Sleeping with the Enemy that was based on a novel by Nancy J. Price that was also titled Sleeping with the Enemy, and it was published in 1987. And then there went on to be several movie adaptations of Sleeping with the Enemy, and then the most notable to go on was Julia Roberts and the 20th Century Fox version of the book Sleeping with the Enemy. Okay, so some of the reviews for Pretty Woman include romantic, must-watch, heartwarming, feel-good, and funny. And so, of course, with the Golden Globe Awards and then the 4 point, well, let's just say close to $5 million that Pretty Woman grossed, along with that, and just being a lovely movie that, every girl's dream, get rescued by the rich man and go off and live a wonderful new life. So that's one of the most notable Julia Roberts movies of the 90s. For some reason, I was speaking with my cousin about Sleeping with the Enemy, a different cousin of mine. She had never even heard of it. She didn't even know it existed. And maybe because it went to TV very quickly, because I remember watching it on TV, not a VHS. It was just on TV. I was sitting on the couch with my mom, so we were just watching a movie. And then it says Sleeping with the Enemy, and it was a really good movie. I remember her being like on the edge of her seat and just waiting to see what happened next. It made me on the edge of my seat, and we was just into it. And I was young. I appreciate, her not restricting me from watching a movie and saying, go, you can't watch this. This is not for kids or whatever. Well, basically at the time, whatever was on TV, kids usually watched because there wasn't no other options. Cartoons was only on early in the morning and on Saturdays and whatnot. So it's like, what else are we gonna watch? We going to watch what you watching. So we was watching it, and some of the awkward parts, like I think the part when she got raped and everything, and some movies are awkward watching with your parents, sexual parts and stuff like that. They may say close your eyes and stuff like that. But other than that, you pretty much watching what they watch. So we was watching it, and so yeah, like I was saying, most little girls, they more relate to the movie Pretty Woman because they, want to be just a beautiful girl out there, maybe minus the prostitution part, or maybe they want that part included, whatever, but they want to, meet that wonderful man that's going to change their life and whole new lifestyle and just, living top notch now. It's all good now. So, but to me, more in my life, I never really had that dream of a man to rescue me or anything like that. It's like I more wanted to just go on an adventure and see and explore and do it alone. I don't know nobody get no my nerves, I was just trying to go, so I kind of more related to Sleeping with the Enemy because she just got on a train or maybe it was a bus and just left. I mean, slipped away, might have been the middle of the night, and just went to a whole new town and just, it was a lovely whole setup. I enjoyed that thoroughly, and it really, it really hit me. No pun intended, because basically she was escaping domestic violence because her husband was abusing her, and she just started a whole new life and a whole new identity. And it's just something, it really resonated with me. It just seemed so adventurous and so fun and so edgy and just amazing that she did that. She was strong. She stood up for herself. She left. She planned it out. She planned it out real good, and she did it, and she enjoyed it, and I just love that movie. Okay, so some of the reviews for Sleeping with the Enemy include suspenseful, gripping, intense, strong acting. But see, me, I also consider that movie to be heartwarming because it just warmed my heart. It ignited something in my brain, sparked the interest in. You can just get on a bus and go way far to a whole new place and just, it looks way different than where you were. Everything's different and it's just, it was heartwarming. She met some, some nice, caring people along the way that helped her and tried to get the past behind her. And like even when she was first traveling, I just remember, this is one of my favorite parts. She was on the bus and it was like an old lady, and the old lady gave her an apple and just nodded her head like, "Let me help you, young girl." And it was like, nodded head and appreciation. They both nodded at each other, and just the apple sounded so crunchy and delicious, and it was a green Granny Smith's apples. And ever since that moment, that's like my favorite fruit. That's my favorite apple. I love the crunch of it. I love, even in the movie, you could hear her crunch into it, and it was juicy. And you could tell it was satisfying and refreshing because she was just escaping, and she planned it out really well, but she didn't plan to bring any food, so that apple was right on time, and it was just a heartwarming moment that people out here care for one another and do caring things, and just random acts of kindness, and it was just beautiful. So, okay, but since Pretty Woman made almost $5 million more in the box office than Sleeping with the Enemy, most people favoritize, their favorite is Pretty Woman. So I might be out here standing for Sleeping with the Enemy all by myself. I don't know. Y'all let me know. But I just love that movie. So let me just skip straight to the end real quick. And the ending is just my favorite part of the whole entire movie. So it was just like, it made me just want to jump up and high five and yes, girl. So it was just on the edge of the seat, just gripping, intense. I see why they got these reviews, because you feel all of that heart pounding. And the ending, it also kind of reminded me of, it gave me the same vibes as another one of my favorite movies that actually came out in 2006, and that's the movie called Running Scared, starring another one of my favorite actresses, Vera Farmiga, but Vera, I love her. She's Norma Bates, aka Norma Bates. So Vera, she played the girlfriend of Paul Walker, and he was like a gangsta-ass white dude. And so she was the girlfriend, and on one part, she had to go rescue her son and another kid from some pedophiles. And so she just bust up in there she didn't bust up in there with the gun. But anyway, when she rescued them, she was on the phone at gunpoint. She came in there to rescue the kids. She had the pedophiles at gunpoint. And so they had like this evil sex room, and it was like cameras and toys and kind of supposed to look like a kid's playland, but it was like little outfits for the kids to wear and torture items and stuff. And so she just realized, like, yo, I have to take these bitches out. I can't just get the kids and go. She was like, no, I have to do justice. Like, she did vigilante justice, because pedophiles, they don't get enough time in jail. They get a little bit of time. I mean, I granted, they get beat up and everything. According to what I hear, they have to, be on protective custody because they get beat up and stuff, but they just deserve a lot more torture or death. Both. And so, yeah, she had the gun up to him. She was like, she got the police on the phone. She had the gun up to him. She was on the phone with the officer, like, officer, I heard some gunshots across the hall. Come quick. So she just shot him. Pow, pow. Got up out of there with the kid. And it's just like, I can't stand pedophiles. I've been through that type of situation as a kid, molestation and everything, and I just can't stand them. I believe they should be tortured and death. But I'll talk about that maybe in the future in a video. Right now, in this video, I want to stick with talking about the domestic violence and the PTSD that I suffer from living through that. But I made it through, and I'm still going strong, and I'm going to keep going. But the PTSD is a motherfucker, and, that shit is real. And it was just like, basically, the comparison of it is kind of similar, because it's like, all right, you got the bitch-ass nigga at gunpoint, and they just standing there frozen. And they just know for all the fucked up shit that they have done, that this is their moment, and they about to die, and you ain't fucking playing. And then, like, on Sleeping with the Enemy, she called him, hello, officer, I just shot an intruder. Come quick. And they just know they fuck with the wrong one, because you ain't playing. You on the phone, you announcing their death, and you about to execute them. Just standing there in fear, and they just sweating, and they just know at the end of this call, they're gonna be murdered. So Vera hit him with the officer, come quick. I just heard gunshots across the hall. Julia hit him with the officer, come quick. I just shot an intruder. And see, and these two beautiful women, they didn't set out to be murderers and goddamn be killers. I mean, they just did what they had to do in the situation. I mean, they did what they had to do. It came down to a rescue, and it came down to a my life or your life. So they had to, at that time, become a murderer. And I don't feel no sympathy for them bitch ass niggas that they shot and killed. And I think them ladies did the right thing in that moment. And it was just epic. And I was proud and happy that they done it. And I loved it. And see, Vera, even though she was in love with a dude living a type of, street lifestyle, but she wanted him to be out of that lifestyle. She tried to talk to him and convince him. She stayed on his neck about it. And then Julia, she was running for her life. I mean, she had to literally fake her death. That's illegal. She faked her death. And she planned to get away from him. So back to the movie. In the movie, it was in the beginning. It was in a boat. Her and her husband, he was like a rich, wealthy man, and they was living a fancy lifestyle. He would take her out to fancy places, but he would also rape her and put on loud opera music and look all crazy while he raping her. And I think he smacked her. They were just showing some scenes of how he was abusive. And then it was in a boat, and the seas was really rocky, and it was like a really rocky boat night. It was at night. And I think it was raining and everything. And so she fell off the boat. And at this time, he didn't know if she could swim. She secretly was taking swimming lessons with the YMCA or some type of swimming place like that. So she fell off the boat. He thought she died. He had a funeral. He was sad because he was so controlling of her. Everything had to be perfect around the house, and she had to be a certain way and do certain things. And it was just like, I don't know, he was sad that she died and sad because he loved her, or if he was just sad because of the control of the situation. He could no longer control her. And so he had the funeral, but she swam somewhere, and then she got on a bus. She had like a bag waiting. Maybe it was in a locker somewhere. She had a bag. She had got the bus tickets and stuff. She went and got on a bus somewhere real far away, somewhere like near where her mother was, because her mother was in an old retirement home. So she went, far. She like the part on the bus when the old lady gave her the apple. She traveled. She had bought a house. It was a nice house. It was old, but it was hers. She was in there fixing it up. I think she was painting. She went to the grocery store. Set up her cabinets the way she wanted to set it up. And I'm going to show y'all my little skit, because that's one of my favorite parts of the movie. And so she, just made her home. And she met a man and fell in love. They also did the 90s montage, trying on clothes, because he was a drama, in a drama club or drama arts theater type of man. And so she went to the theater and backstage with all the props and the clothing and the dress-up items, and they dressed up and did their little thing, and she fell in love with him. One part, she dressed up like a man. This is another one of my favorite parts. She dressed up like a man because he had the little prosthetic stuff. He put the makeup on, the mustache on her, and the little cap, and she went to the old folks home to visit her mother. Her mother was also blind, so her mother had to touch her, and she felt her face, and she knew it was her daughter, but then she felt the mustache, and then her mother knew that, her mother just automatically knew that her daughter escaped that abusive situation. And then one part later down the road, the swimming place called her ex-husband and said something like, we miss her, her swimming, this is a swimming instructor and stuff like that. And he was like, swimming? He's like, no, she don't swim. She don't even know how to swim. She's scared of the water. So they're like, well, I don't know what to tell you. She was taking swimming classes, and we love her. And So he was like, all right, she alive. So he went to where her mother was. He had a pillow. He was gonna, did he smother her mother? He put the pillow up to her mother. Oh, he went to get the information from the mother. He had the pillow. He was about to smother the mother. And then he took the pillow and put it behind her, but he, I think maybe he was feeding her and asking her questions and stuff. And she was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, and stuff like that. And then at the same time, he was leaving the place, and Julia Roberts was coming in dressed up like the man. And she'd been down at the water fountain and was getting some water. And he walked straight by. And she never even seen him. He never even seen her. That disguise wouldn't have fooled him if he would have actually saw her in the face, but he didn't. And so, you know, at the end of the movie, he did find the house that she was at because he was in town, so he was getting close. He went to her house. She came home, and he straightened up all the stuff like in her bathroom because he used to want his bathroom real straight, and all the towels had to be lined up and stuff. So he did hers like that, and then that's when he did in her kitchen and stuff, put her cans and her cabinet all straight, and that's when she realized he was dead. And that's when she was like, oh my God, so she was on point. So she was just ready to, he attacked her and I think beat her up, got her to the ground. Maybe he was going to strangle her with the phone cord or something, I don't know, but she did have the phone. Don't remember where the gun came from, but suddenly she had a gun and the phone, and she was like, I just shot an intruder, blasting him. Yeah, it was just a happy, wonderful ending. Like she continued her relationship with the man that she met, and it was just beautiful. She continued her whole new life, and so I resonate more with that because later down the road, I did end up in a domestic violence situation, getting, you know, married to my abuser and everything. And the weed is kicking in. I'm all high. Look at my eyes; they all tangy and everything, but I can still see, but yeah, I'm going to stop smoking weed really soon. I know I've been saying that forever, but really this time when I leave town, I'm leaving all types of stuff in the past and letting go of old things and just starting over fresh. And I'm getting on the bus or train or whatever and getting out of town just like Julia or Laura. She plays as Laura in the movie, so get out of here. Just hope I meet some kind people that will show acts of kindness like gave the apple, or some people that I can show acts of kindness to and give an apple, and just explore and just new identity. I'm even going to change my name. I don't hate my name. I was born with this name. I love it. My parents named me, and it's just that I have like a slight speech impediment, and so it's always been difficult even like to pronounce it. Like I pronounce it like, you know, funny, and when people read it, they don't really know how to pronounce it. And plus, you know, we can name ourselves, and we can choose a name that's based on our identity, and we can be creative, and we don't have to stick with the same name our whole life. And I've chosen a name, and so I've chosen a new place to go. I'm just going to give it a try out here. I'm not particularly running from the abuser at this moment because we have been divorced for a while, and even after the divorce, I still had to go through some violence from him and still had to endure rape and attempted rape and attempted violence, harassment, getting embarrassed all in public, and just him acting a fool and stuff. But even after all that, you know, basically died down, I feel like right now I'm a little bit scared. I think maybe it's like the PTSD of it all, and it's like I kind of feel scared, like I have to sneak out of town and not exactly say when or where I'm going to him or my daughter, because I don't really want them to have the details, so that it's not really her I'm keeping the details from, but I have to so that I can keep the details from him, so he won't try to stop me. I don't know if he'll try to murder me, because I've always kind of thought in the back of my mind that he's kind of like that person that's just like, if I can't have her, nobody can. and stuff like that, and just like a little crazy. I mean, I know for a fact, I know for a fact he's a little crazy, but in my mind, I think he's the murder-suicide type of person. I think it'd be like a murder-suicide, and he really going through a lot lately, and his life is not going well. I don't want to say downhill, but he's going through a lot. I mean, karma, it will catch up to you eventually. I mean, you can't just be out here fucking up, trying to fuck up the life of God's favorite. You're not with that. And you're not going to be able to do that and just have a beautiful, lovely life skipping down the lane your whole life. You're going to get some rocks and some lumps along the way. He's going through some of that, and he's also maybe a little jealous that I'm free and about to go do me. And recently he was even over here. He came to visit one day, and he was like, he said something like, I'm going to get this house, I'm going to be shitting on you and stuff like that. And then I was like, you will never be shitting on me, because you will never be as happy as me. Like, just happy in the woods. Because this was the day that I just came from the woods, and I had like a nature day, and it was beautiful. And I was just so filled with joy and life. And I was like, you can't even go to the woods and be as happy as me and get that joy out of life, out of the simple pleasures of life. And you have all this on your brain, you crazy motherfucker, and you want to be all compare yourself to me and try to put me down and live a better life than me or something. But like you're so miserable. Like, look at you. Like, he was so drunk and like just dancing and he had like this big old belly, and I'm like kept trying to do the Busted challenge. This was the Busted challenge. This was all like a couple of months ago or something. And he was like just kept trying to do it because I was like, I didn't really know what it was, so he was basically demonstrating it. So it was just so awkward and humiliating to see him that way and just doing that. And it was just and just he had got on his knees and he was all like he was like, nobody can tolerate me the way you can, or something like that, like withstand me or something. I'm all like, I can't withstand you. That's why I left. Like, and so it's like, yeah, I'm not exactly running from being abused at the moment, but I'm just out of here, and I just want to get out of here safely without being murdered. So sleeping with the enemy, it more resonates to me in my life, and it always has touched me more than Pretty Woman. Even though, in my life, I had to go through, some things, and it was like, let me see. I ended up eventually down the road, eventually down the road, I was doing some stripping. I was a stripper, a little tiny bit, and I sold a little tiny bit of booty here and there. It wasn't like the daily thing, like go out on the boulevard and sell it and advertise it and sell it to anybody and everybody here and there. But it been certain situations where I have exchanged some booty for some money, because I was down and out and struggling and just desperate and just, I don't know. It wasn't the ideal thing I wanted to do, but I can admit it had been done, and maybe I was kind of used to just giving up a little booty for a little something I want, because like in my lifetime I had to go through like being raped by a family member like on a daily basis, and so eventually I got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm going to get what I want out of the situation. Since I have to be in the situation, I didn't really know how to get out of the situation. So I just stayed in the situation for a long, long time. And I did. It became an exchange type of thing. It's gross and everything, but it happened. And so when I got like a little bit older, oops, done hit the table with the pen. when I got a little bit older and just got into a situation or got down and out and needed something, I was familiar already with exchanging a little booty for meeting my own needs, and I did that here and there. Way in the past though, way in the past. But it happened, and it wasn't like something that I wanted to do so that I could just be out there doing it, like hitting the boulevard all the time, doing that, and get a come up from that and make money and meet Prince Charming or whatever, like in Pretty Woman. I didn't want that. I just had to get a little come up for a minute and then get back to my life. But it wasn't like I wanted the whole Pretty Woman situation. But I do want to sleeping with the enemy. I want to get out of there. I don't want to have to murder the bitch, but I will if I have to. But I don't want that. But I do want freedom. Let me see. One day I want to write a book and do all the details about the whole family member situation and everything. But I don't want to give any additional details yet until I'm ready to speak on it. But that wasn't my first time ever saying it out loud to anyone and speaking on it. So proud of myself for that. And I got it off my chest. I feel lighter. I'm shaking a little bit, but I feel lighter. I know it's going to be judgment and everything, but hey, it happened. It's me. It's my life, and I'm still living it. I'm still proud of myself. I'm still strong. And, still going to keep going. And it won't be a secret that can hurt me anymore if I put it out there. But I'm just going to put the details out slowly but surely, when and how I want. But it happened. And other than that, domestic violence happened. I made it through that. I endured my first trip to the bookings because of it. I'll tell a lot of my domestic violence stories separately, but I'm looking at the time and I don't want to make this video super, super, super long, but it's already long. But I'll tell some more of them stories, especially that booking story, because that was funny. I find the humor in situations, even though they are like kind of drastic, wild situations, but they happen to me. But looking back, but if I think about it, like if I was watching it in a movie, or if somebody was telling me the story, and they was laughing and stuff, and I would be laughing because it's kind of funny. It's some humor in everything in life. Maybe not the super darkest, saddest things, but even like at funerals and my family, we laugh and joke around and go down memory lane, and you just find the humor in things. And I don't know, I'm silly. Something's wrong with my brain a little bit, like a tiny bit. I don't know exactly what's wrong, but I'm a little different, weird a little bit, strange, different, weird, slow but smart. Slow but smart. I remember in Job Corps, this dude Keon, he had a nickname for me. He was Slolo. He was gonna be Slolo, and it was so funny because I'm like, yo, you funny as shit, yo, because I am slow. Something's running a little slowly, but also in fast motion in one area, but in some areas slow. He was my bestie, my best friend Alicia, her boo, and that was like one of my funniest nicknames. So yeah, I don't find the humor in being raped by a family member, but that's not funny. I don't want to kill him either, and I don't hate him. And it's just weird. I don't know. I'll speak maybe about it more in detail, just slowly down the road as I know how to say it out loud and know what I'm trying to say. And I don't know why I'm saying it, but it's not like I want to go to the grave with it, but it's not like, I keep looking at my notes like they're gonna help me. I'm finished talking about the movies. Let me see, oh, what's on this back page? Alright, well, I do have some stuff on this back, the back page of my notes. Maybe I can look on, let me see. Alright, so basically, it's just notes on how I wanted to get into talking about the domestic violence and the bitch ass nigga that I ended up marrying. I married him, fell in love with him, had a baby. I mean, we had a baby before we got married. I had the baby, and when we was one, when she was one, we got married. But, you know, I knew he was a violent person before we got married. We did have some domestic situations even before the marriage, but I still stayed with him, even though I said I would never be that kind of bitch. Like, even when I saw Sleeping with the Enemy, and she didn't, look at that, I'm shaking the camera, hitting the table. She didn't tolerate that shit. She got out of there, but I was glad about that. But I seen other movies as a kid, you know, like another one of my all-time favorite movies was Love Got to Do With It, and all the abuse she had to put up with. And then my sister, she was in a domestic violence, abusive relationship when we was teenagers, and I had to see her go through that, and I try to stand up for her and stuff like that. I'm ready to fight or whatever, and I've seen it. It's like my aunts and stuff like that. I've seen it, and I'm not gonna be that kind of bitch. I'm not gonna tolerate that shit. But I was that kind of bitch, and I tolerated it, even though I didn't want to. I did leave him a few times. I definitely called the police a couple times. And even I had got locked up once because of his bitch ass mother. But she called the police on me because he was looking all beat up and scratched up. But I was defending my cousin that he was attacking, and so we beat him up. And so, I'm looking at this. I'm a little cold. I'm gonna get my sweater on. And basically, I'm gonna bring the video to an end. Let me see. I'm just looking at the bottom of the last little frame that I have on my notes. It says, so trauma after trauma on top of trauma, PTSD from our past until I broke free from yet another cycle of abuse from this man. Let me see, from this man, passed on the relationship. Abuse from this man. Oh, alright, free from another cycle of abuse. Ooh. Alright, the camera done started a new video. It just says size limit something new video started. So anyway, let me bring it to a close. So it said I broke free from yet another cycle of abuse, and this was post our abusive relationship. I still went through a whole nother cycle of abuse after that. And I'm gonna do another video. It's gonna be, you know, get into the history of the bitch ass nigga and all the stuff I went through and the abuse and breaking free from that, and then breaking free from that again after I broke free from that, and now breaking free from it again and moving to a whole new town. Hopefully breaking free this time. Give us free. Give us free. I need my free. So I'm going. And it's the end of the video. That's my feelings. That's how Sleeping with the Enemy relates to me in my life, and also Pretty Woman, prostitution, domestic violence. Been through some things. Writing a book, not just on those two things, because I've been through a lot more things than that. Pedophiles involved. Spit flying out. I'm high, y'all. All right, anyway. Pedophiles involved. Lots involved here. We'll talk later. Go into some more details later, but I appreciate getting on here, getting some feelings out, getting some things out my chest. Yes. Well, that's not a good ending. All right. Bye. Ooh, I hit the table. Let's try again. Bye. Bye. Wiggle the fingers. I'm trying some house shows. I don't know what to do. This is kind of like my first video, but it's actually my second. Because the first video I didn't get on camera. I just filmed a piece of artwork that I made and talked about how I'm leaving town and everything. But this is the second, and I'm on camera speaking. It's not too bad. I never really liked being on camera because I don't think I look like this in real life. I look a little funny on camera. Even in the mirror, sometimes I look different than what I look like. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, even in the mirror sometimes I'm like, that ain't me. But even in the mirror, I look more as me than I do on camera. The camera me is different than the me in the mirror and different than the me, the actual me. I'm not talking about like I'm three different people. I know this is sounding kind of crazy. I know I'm not talking about I am three different people, or it's just like, it's the same me, but I look different in each one. Like different in the mirror, different in the camera, different when eyes of a person put their eyes on me. It's a different image than portraying on camera. That's why I don't really take pictures or do social media or any of that, because my camera image is just not the me that I am. But I'm gonna just start showing this me, that camera girl, that girl. She me too, but she just ain't me, but I'm gonna show it, like I said, because life is short and I have stuff to talk about, and everybody can get on YouTube and talk about stuff, so I can too, and I want to, and relate with y'all and just talk and just document my journey, out of town and everything, as a poor African American girl out here struggling, get ready to go do this on a budget. You don't gotta have a lot of money to do it. You just gotta face your fears and be willing to give it a try. And I'm gonna just, do it. I'm gonna get on camera and I'm gonna show y'all the journey. And I look kind of cute. I hate myself on camera. It's just that this is not the same image that I see in the mirror. It's just different. It's all different and new to me. But I'm walking through it, and y'all gonna walk through it with me. My channel is called The Backpacking Sage. My cousin helped me. She put everything together and the title and everything. But as far as me, I'm gonna be doing like a lot of traveling and walking and not driving. So I thought about calling it The Hiking Viking, because Viking in our family is just like a joke, like a person that can make something out of nothing, and just I'll explain it to y'all further. This video is getting long. I'll explain it to y'all further, what Viking is to our family and what it is to me. And I think I might change my channel to The Hiking Viking, or I'll change it to The Vagabond Viking. So The Vagabond Viking, because it's like, I think vagabond means homeless or something like that, or poor or whatever, but I am going to be homeless and I am poor. So, and I am a Viking. It's in my genes. It's been handed down generation to generation. My grandmother, we call her OG. OG is a Viking. My mother, Inel, she's a Viking. It's been handed down to me. I'm a Viking. My sister, she a Viking. We be Viking it. Just Viking it out here. And I'm going to show y'all how to Viking it, Viking it right, and make it. And yeah, I'm going to be out here as a Viking. My little image can kind of be like pirate type of, pretty pirate type of thing, because I got my little pretty scarf. I always feel like a little pretty scarf. I don't like to really go out the house without a scarf, because I'm trying to get my edges back, y'all. So they almost back. I'm going to show y'all in another video. But I always got my scarf on. That's something else my mother used to do. Always wear her scarf. Rest in peace. Rise in peace. Because what I like to say is that, a gangster don't die. They rise in peace. Because she ain't up there resting. She too much of a G to rest. When I go, I ain't gonna be resting. So I'm gonna rise in peace. So rest in peace, Mom. And yep, I'm carrying a tradition. But I don't care because I am confident and I know that I'm beautiful. And I don't care what people think of me or whatever. And I'm just letting go of that, people and what they think of me and all that stuff, because it'll help me with my anxiety if I can let go of what people think of me. I just don't really give a fuck anymore. Oops, don't hit my speaker. I don't really give a fuck anymore what they think of me. I'm just gonna be me and live my life, live out the rest of it, because who knows how much I have left. I feel like it's limited. It's maybe on a countdown or something. Who knows if I'll live long or not, but either way, I'm gonna live it to the fullest and live it as me and live it in my truth and live it fully and just want to live and just want to be out there. And yep, I'll speak on some more topics very soon, and it was excellent to do this. And so the end.